Anyway, Assalamualaikum, a very good morning everyone. Allow me first and foremost on behalf of my team, Madrid headquarters, as well as our colleagues who sat there, to thank all of you for your presence this morning. Indeed, we appreciate your coverage for this big event, the biggest halal show. And the best part is that, as what I'm going to share with you, is the international sourcing program, where we are bringing about 200 foreign buyers from all over the world. In fact, we present almost about 70 countries. So I would say that this is a annual congregation of buyers and sellers, and it is a process. By the way, this is the 16th edition of Meetups. We have been going through a tough journey when we started this event back in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. And the first INSP, at the time we called that program Buying Mission, started in 2005. And over the years, we realized that this is something big that we have to tell the world, that Malaysia is able to cater the needs of the both players, the buyers as well as the sellers. Now, as I say, it is an annual congregation of buyers and sellers. The process is, let me share with you so that you have an idea how we organize this event. Where our officers abroad, we have 46 officers abroad, identify who will be the quality buyers. I want to stress on the word quality. And indeed, it is a very stringent process. We identify the buyers and basically the trend of their buying pattern, and then from there we engage ourselves closely with them, and then we shortlist them. And then once we have identified or shortlisted the buyers, headquarters level will screen and vet through the buyers. And we match the buyers with our sellers, exporters, using technology that to ensure that we minimize the mismatch aspect of it. So here again, as I said, 200 foreign buyers representing almost, let me correct the figure again, almost 43 countries. When I said just now, more than 80 countries basically involve the exhibitors, foreign exhibitors as well. So later on, my colleague Wan Zohaila will take you to the third floor to experience yourself how this session is conducted. So all in all, this is one of the key events under the Global Halal Showcase, in short we call it GHAS, a rebrand of the World Halal Week, spearheaded by Jakim, and Madrid is part of the organizers for the exhibition component of it. The sectors of interest of these buyers basically covers halal consumable agricultural produce, halal certified processed and ready-to-eat products, canned foods, chocolate and dairy products, confectionery, poultry and seafood products, beverages, food chemicals, additive, pharmaceutical and herbal products. So basically all those food products here. Of course, it also covers non-food products like food packaging and machinery, perfumery, toiletries, cosmetic and body care. On top of that, other services, halal services that we are providing, also the Islamic investment, banking and takaful, which covers Islamic financial institutions and consultants, as well as Islamic banking. So when you talk about halal, it covers the whole spectrum of product and services. Now, what I want to share with you before you pose me questions, myself as well to my colleagues, the number of business meetings that are going to be arranged by Madrid for this session. The number is almost 2,000 business meetings. That's quite a huge number. You're talking about an average of 12 business meetings for each buyers. So throughout the day, they'll be engaging themselves with the Malaysian suppliers, exporters, and the Malaysian side there are about 588 companies that have already pre-registered themselves to meet the buyers. We also allow the walk-in Malaysian companies to come and meet the buyers. The composition of the buyers basically attending this session. Let me just share with you. Out of these, actually 45 countries. Now I'm talking about the Malaysian side, the sellers. You're talking about Central Malaysia, covers Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, as well as Negeri Sembilan, about 308 companies. Northern part, 78, comprises of the 4 states, Perlis, Kedah, Penang, and Perak. East, 23, South, 62, Sabah, Sarawak, about 37 of them. So basically it covers the whole players, the whole exporters, Malaysian suppliers from Malaysia. And then with regards to the another interesting fact that I think you should pick would be number of women-owned companies that will be participating in this event, which is between 247 women-owned companies. So basically the companies are run by women, ladies. Okay? And SME companies about 365. We give you the facts and figures later on. But what I'm going to share here is that this session, as I said, it is a very unique session where it does not only cover the big boys, the mid-tier companies, the big companies, corporation, but also we cater the need of the SMEs. Some maybe are not ready for the export market, but through the customized program that Matrix is providing to these SMEs for them to be export-ready companies, they are also invited to come and see and meet with these buyers in order for them to learn, to understand better the requirements of the export market. For example, for Japanese market, they're very particular about the quality, they're very particular about the packaging, they're particular about the ingredients in the aspect. So that exposure, kind of exposure, knowledge could be gained by the Malaysian startups and so forth. Even some of the Malaysian exporters that are already currently exporting to developed countries, to the non-developed countries, they have already exported their products. They will learn a lot from this engagement. Okay. Now, just a little bit more. I want to touch on the. I have 3 minutes here. Thank you. It's good to have my advisors. I want to touch on the composition of the foreign buyers. Top 10, definitely from China, India, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Korea, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, Ukraine, and Australia. And ASEAN, quite a big number, also 35 buyers. I'll give you all the details. So what I'm trying to say is that we talk about region-wise, it covers Africa, Americas, ASEAN, Central Asia, Northeast Asia, Europe, South Asia, as well as West Asia. So, as I said, this is an annual congregation of the buyers and sellers. We try to bring new buyers from other countries as well. I led a mission last year to Central Asia, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. They have shown interest in our halal industries, our products as well as services, and we got buyers also as well from these countries. So things are moving well. Yes, sir.
Hi. Last year, you said that INSP generated about 310 million sales. So what is your target for this year?
Sorry, last year, let me just correct that figure. Last year was 602.45 million ringgit. Again, I will share with you the correct figure. So your question is?
So what is your target for this year's sales?
This is going to be the favorite questions asked by the media normally. So what will be target? Okay, we don't want to be too ambitious with regards to numbers, value. But we are looking at with the number of buyers that we're bringing with us. But we are talking about 500 to 600 million. Yeah, that basically sales, actual as well as potential sales. Yeah. Now the figure might be bigger than that after a few months because the follow-up and follow-through made by the Malaysian companies with the exporters, Malaysian exporters, with the buyers. So that's basically a figure that you could, a more accurate figure you can get maybe in a couple of months' time, because that's where the signing on that dotted line will happen. Yeah.
Which segment do you think that will be focus for this year? Because previously you said that food and beverages contributed as the largest in this total sale.
Right. Let's admit that the F&B is still the sectors that will be in great demand by the buyers, while we are pushing very hard also some other products. For example, we have 8 components of the segments rather in Mihas in the exhibition. And one of the new components rather is the modest fashion. Modest fashion, you'll be surprised. So I would advise you to visit our show because they're bringing fashion designers, about 28 local designers plus Indonesian as well. 10 Indonesian designers, 28 Malaysian designers. 28 Malaysian designers will be participating in the Mihas in the modest fashion cluster, and 10 from Indonesia. This is one of the new components that we are promoting. So, to respond to your question, basically, we hope to see some, interesting figure regards to this particular sector. And bear in mind that this sector contributed almost 270 billion US dollar in terms of global market, the value of modest fashion. Modest fashion, the value in this segment is 270 billion US dollar.
First time.
And this is the first time we are, promoting this in Mihas in the 16th edition.
So how do you see modest fashion will contribute to the total sale? How the percentage?
Well, I believe that, again, I want to quote my own experience when I led the mission to New York last year in the New York Fashion Show, where I brought with me about 16 fashion designers to New York. So in relation to that, we believe that there are a lot of interest shown by the international players with regards to our design, with regards to the quality, with regards to the material use. They even have eco-friendly kind of fabrics and whatnot. Yeah. So you'll be surprised that a lot of our fashion designers have managed to make an inroad into the important markets like in Paris, in New York, as well as in Milan. So I believe that, as I said, I can't give you a specific figure, but definitely there will be a lot of interest, serious interest, and there will be some transactions happen during this event.
We are this is going to be tomorrow, the modest fashion, and we are also connecting the local designers with local buyers from major buying house here in Malaysia. So again, it's an inaugural event, so it's happening starting tomorrow, starting in Mihas.
Is there some sort of requirement must be fulfilled by the local companies or SMEs before they participate in the INSP? I mean, in terms of how the revenue they make, or how long they be in the business, or the track record.
Right. With regards to the participation of the Malaysian suppliers and exporters or companies to be part of the INSP program, of course they have to be export-ready companies. We encourage them to be a member of Madrid, that's for sure, for them to benefit the most of our services that we are providing to every Malaysian company. Now, yes, we look at every aspect of it, the capacity part in terms of the pricing, packaging, everything, every aspect. We advise them through our program. So, in order for them to qualify to be here, we don't want to bring any small companies, micro, because these buyers are really interested to buy to source from Malaysia, and we don't want to end up with they don't have the capacity to provide to the buyers. So, yeah, to respond to your question, of course, there are requirements been imposed on the Malaysian supplier side. But again, as I said, we allow these SMEs to come to join because we want them to learn, learn and also to create that networking with the buyers. The engagement is very important for them to understand which market they want to penetrate because each market is different from another. Yeah. In preparation of these companies to become export-ready companies, we have a division that looks into the developmental part of it. So, for example, we have Go Export. So it is a customized program where we select these companies and we train and groom them, guide them. It's a hand-holding program. We also have the mid-tier programs. This is bigger size, which the turnover is 50 million to 500 million turnover, annual turnover for the manufacturing, and 20 million and above for the services. So we have this hand-holding program. We have Bumi Putra Exporters Development Program. We have Women Exporters Development Program. We have Youth Exporters Development Program. So these programs basically to cater the needs of the country in terms of their preparedness for the export market. So, and also we have online e-trade. Very good. Thank you for my advisors. We have also online. We have e-trade. We call it e-trade, where we engage. We have collaborations with the marketplaces. Marketplaces, and we encourage Malaysian companies to enroll and register with us, and they have access to all these marketplaces doing online business. Before you answer a few more other questions, let me share with you some of the important value of this INSP. This year we started to collaborate with universities, higher learning institutions. Okay, we have for this session we have about I think 40 masters students from UITF. So what we have done is that we give them the exposure for them to get a feel of it, how the whole event is organized. And interestingly, these students they are doing masters in tourism management, but the courses that they are taking are event marketing and sponsorship, as well as event planning and analysis. So we give them the necessary exposure, how we organize big events at international level. We give them the exposure in terms of how the engagement at the professional level, buyer and sellers. We give them the exposure, experience on how to coordinate the whole thing and make it happen. So all in all, basically this is a very invaluable experience for the Malaysian students in order to prepare themselves to face the real world when they graduate. Now we have another batch of students, about 30 of them, basically doing Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management, and their specialization is Event Management and Islamic Tourism. They will be attached to the exhibition halls where they will have that hands-on experience themselves, how exhibition is organized at the international level, and how business engagement is being done. So this is one of the new elements that we are doing in regards to MIHA's INSP and MIHA's 2016 edition. Again, as what being shared, we also encourage SMEs to come on board for this program. So those are some of the values that we're looking at in terms of giving the exposure to Malaysian companies.
Okay, shall we open the questions to the foreign media? So
I have a question for Mr. Mustafa. Earlier, sir, you discussed the qualifications for INSP, how Malaysian exporters can participate in this program. But I would like to ask, how do you classify buyers as being quality? What are your requirements? Because the Philippines is among your buyer
Oh yes,
countries.
indeed. In fact,
One of the biggest countries.
okay.
No, well, not the biggest, but also contributing.
Yeah, they're going to be the biggest next year. I hope so. Okay. You must understand that being the National Export Promotion Agency of Malaysia, we have 46 offices abroad. We have our office in Manila as well. Now their role, as I said, is to engage themselves with the local business community, with the what they call that, with the government that have interest in terms of trade, economic elements of it, and also Chamber of Commerce and Trade Association and so forth. So when our office conduct this kind of program, so it is important for us to get the quality buyer from the reliable source. For example, Chamber of Commerce. Okay, of course, we will have to do our due diligence. You know, we look at the size of the company, we look at their appetite, you know, we look at their interest, and so forth. And bear in mind that we don't simply pick and choose. We look at our side, the supply side, whether we have that capacity, whether we have the products or not. There are also buyers show their interest, but we have to reject and turn down the application. The reason simply because we don't have what to offer. We don't have anything to offer to them because it's not our strength. I mean, let's be honest about it. So, in terms of the selection of the company buyers, it's a very stringent process, engagement with the respective associations, as well as the due diligence done by our office, are basically a part of the job that are done by our trade commissioners and assistant trade commissioners.
Just to add a little bit to the question, initially our trade commissioners and our overseas officers, they register more than 300 buyers for this INSP this year, and after through the screening process and all, we downstream it, we look at the capability, we look at the supply that we can have, the supply side, the demand side. So we streamline to 200 buyers for this time. That's how we do it.
The interest is really high, shown by all the foreign buyers, very high, but we got to screen. We're talking about, at one point, we brought in almost 500 buyers for this program. That was recorded in 2008, 2009, and 2010. But we don't want to go for numbers anymore. We go for quality.
I have a follow-up question, Drew, actually. So, how would you characterize Philippine buyers? What do they buy from Malaysian exporters? Because the halal industry now has several sections, right? It's no longer just food and beverage. And the second question would be, the Philippines is also trying to develop its own halal industry, even at a small level. So how do you see the dynamic playing out between Malaysian companies and Philippine companies in the future in relation to that?
I'm going to answer the first part in a different manner. When I was posted to Dubai back in 2001 as the Senior Trade Commissioner, that was my second posting after Paris. And that time, the financial crisis hit our region badly. Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. 2 years after that, 2003, I said, watch Indonesia, watch Philippines. And that was 2003 before I moved to Japan. Because Japan waited for me to leave. So my point is this. At that point of time, I can see that Philippines is a very important market. Talk about domestic market, it's a huge market. You're talking about 90 million population. You're talking about Indonesia, 220 million population. You talk about ASEAN, it's about 660 million, almost 700 million. This is a huge market. So, of course, our engagement with the Philippine side is not only in the form of participation in exhibition. We even conducted specialized mission. We call it export acceleration mission. Now, of course, we have our own way of identifying what are the sectors of industry that we want to really target in the Philippine markets. And we don't want just to sell. We want to collaborate. We want to partnership with your side, offering our technology, offering our expertise. So the approach is different. Okay? Now, so once we identify what are the product or sectors or services highly demanded by the Philippines, that's where we come up with our strategies. Do you know that we formulated and developed our strategies almost a year, 1 year to develop with my team members and so forth. So look at the demand side, look at the supply side. So to respond to your question, not only F&B, recently, the Right Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia went to Philippine official visit together with my minister, and we participated in the World Banks, right? That's basically building materials, right? So what I want to make is that F&B is just one of the sectors that we're looking at. We know that you are pushing hard for your halal industry. We know that. And we are coming in strongly, and this is the best platform for us to really engage our staff with buyers or business company from your country, so that we understand better. And of course, that specialized mission, participation in exhibitions and conferences, whatever you name it, in Philippines, definitely will be taken into account in our trade promotion activities. Okay. Second part, what was the? I hope I answered the first part.
So, what products do Filipina buyers buy?
For F&B, basically F&B.
For this INSP, it's mostly F&B. For this INSP. However, as mentioned by Mr. Mustafa, we do extend to other sectors, but not for this INSP. For example, just now when Mr. Mustafa mentioned during World Banks, we are promoting our construction and building, construction and building materials, professional services, so on and so forth.
I don't have the bilateral statistics with me, but I can furnish you what basically we exported to the Philippines. And basically our trade with Philippines has shown an upward trend for the last few years. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have an office in Manila as well.
And another thing about Philippines, we are looking at the southern part, the Mindanao. Yeah. For the halal industry.
I have a question. I was looking at the list of companies, and a lot of those companies actually export local products like durian, palm oil, coffee powder. How can you gauge the interest of these local products to non-Muslim countries? Do they consume it? Because they don't understand that, maybe some countries don't understand that halal is beyond just meat, it's also the manufacture of durian, sweets, etc.
Okay, let me again. I have to quote my own personal experience. That's the best thing that I can share. I mean, I've gone through the process. I went through the journey. Japan, for example, when I took over the office in 2004, halal is stuck. It's unpopular among the Japanese, right? But now, yesterday, I met the CEO of the Mitsubishi in Malaysia. He came to see me. He was shocked to see what is happening even in Tokyo. Narita Airport even provide a prayer room. As simple as that. Now they are looking at Japan. The market will be flocked by the Muslim community, or Muslim travelers. Now, as I said, when you want to cater this halal market, you have to look at every aspect of it. So what does halal means? I apply until now the Japanese culture. It's about cleanliness, from farm to table, right? Japanese, they stress on the quality. They look at every aspect of it. Until now, I will wash my hand before I eat, whatever, after I drive my car, until now. So it's about not only culture, but it's about cleanliness. Now, Islam practice that. So if you go to the developed countries now, the level of acceptance is very, very high. Because you don't talk about that, you don't relate it to the religion, but you relate to the way of life. Yeah. So, you look. I went to Tokyo. I think last year, maybe I can't remember. Early of the year, last year. There are, if not thousands, but there are hundreds of halal restaurants now in Tokyo. You can find easily halal meat, halal product. That time, not many. When I was there, 2004, 2007, you got one Malaysian restaurant, Ginza, here and there, some Pakistani run. But now, my God, have you been to Tokyo?
Yes.
When was that?
2 years ago.
Don't you agree with me?
No issue with halal.
There you go. I think you answered my question then.
I have a follow-up question. The talk that Malaysia will be running the central kitchen at Tokyo 2020 Olympics, ensuring that it provide halal food not only for athletes but for tourists as well. Can you share more or any information on that?
There is something that is still being discussed.
Yeah, I do not want to, share something which I don't have the facts and figures yet. I mean to be fair to us, but I know that Madrid has been very aggressive in terms of promoting the halal products because we are the National Export Promotion Agency. Our engagement with the buyers. How many buyers we have from Japan? You can just help me. That shows how serious. I got a good friend of mine, Mr. Kasugai-san. Every year he comes. He started with all these paste, sauces and whatnot. And now I think we got 10 buyers from Japan. Now he has I think 3 outlets. He even opened a Malaysian restaurant in Osaka or Kobe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how serious it is. So, of course, we wish to bring 100 buyers from Japan, but due to budget limitations and whatnot, of course, we take into account all these things. And as I said, we want to bring quality buyers. So, regards to the establishment of the central kitchen, halal central kitchen in Tokyo and whatnot, to cater for the Olympic Games, I think you should go beyond that. Okay, beyond that, in the sense that we are looking at long term. We want to collaborate with Japanese side. Bear in mind that there are a few Japanese companies that are currently collaborating with the Malaysian companies here and re-export their product outside to the third country. So they provide the technology, we provide the expertise in terms of halal perspective. So that kind of collaboration we're looking at. The same thing goes to Philippines. We don't want just to, as I said, I want to stress this, the importance of our presence in all this market. We just don't want to sell our products to your country or to any country because it's unfair. We also want to help that country to create employment. So what we do is that we look at the opportunities, investment in that aspect, and then we offer our expertise. I just came back with Prime Minister Tun Mahathir from Pakistan. I went to with Haji Mansur to Qatar with Deputy Prime Minister last year. Again, the same approach. We want them to use Malaysia as a hub for any countries. Use Malaysia as the hub for them to source products from ASEAN countries and export. And Qatar is doing that. I even shared this with Mr. Prime Minister Mahathir Tun Mahathir that even for Pakistan for that matter, that they should use Malaysia as a hub. So positioning Mihas is very important for us to ensure that any buyers from this region or other regions to use this avenue for them to source halal products and services for their respective markets. Yes, sir.
Talking about the statistics that we have here about the INSP,
Yeah.
when it comes to halal industry in general, when we were at the Mihas launching, we saw that 2 of the biggest top 5 exporting locations are countries which are non-Muslim countries, China and Singapore. But although these countries have a fair number of Muslims, but looking at the statistics here, we can see that Poland is the 3rd most exporting for the INSP, which is a country with a small number of Muslims,
Yeah.
and a region which is not highly penetrated by trade. How do you explain this?
I already explained to our friend just now. You see, that's why I said it is not about halal. You don't associate that. Even for the financial services, we don't call it anymore Islamic finance. We call it green finance. It's a taboo. Let's be honest about it. For some non-Islamic countries, it's a taboo. You associate it with the religion. They see the value. This buyer, they see the value of the products and services offered by the Malaysian companies, and they believe that, as I said, I want to stress on the importance of cleanliness. They see the whole process. It's a process. Okay, how they produce their product, even the container they use, even the logistic part of it. So it should be halal. Should be Sharia compliance. Supply chain. Yes, the whole supply chain. I talk about halal is about from farm to table, for a whole supply chain, whatever you use. So some buyers, they look this as a premium item, in order for them to tackle that segment. So I'm not surprised looking at the figure imported by the Polish buyers last year, because they see the value. That,
So our initiative into marketing to
so when they see the value, Madrid will start to smell something. Hey, we should look at this market, the Eastern Europe, because there's a big demand now. Because the buyer has proven that there's a big demand of our products, halal product. So that's where, in our what do you call that exercise for our annual work program, trade promotion activities that we plan for next year, we take into account that aspect as well, the demand of Malaysian products, especially halal, for that matter. Yeah. So halal is product and services now is not a market, a product or services to be exported to only to the Muslim countries, but non-Muslim countries as well.
We can attribute that to also our marketing program, our promotional program to the region. For example, our CEO led delegation last year, export extraction mission to Eastern Europe, where Warsaw is one of the cities visited last year.
And remember, as I said, the asset that Madrid has, the most valuable asset, basically our 46 officers around the globe. They are our marketing tools, our marketing vehicles to promote Malaysia as well.
If I may add,
Yeah, please.
when we look at the halal, the concept, actually, as what Jim Mustafa mentioned, the whole supply chain, where from the upstream to downstream, and we look into the hygiene factor of the whole process. So that concept has actually been acknowledged by not only the Muslim market but also the non-Muslim market. Similarly, about the modest fashion that we introduced this year, modest fashion, is not relating to any particular group of religion, but also is universal. So it can cater for Muslim, it can cater for non-Muslim as well, modest fashion. So the same thing for halal concept. Now people are gaining more confidence on the processes, so that's where we can get buyers from European countries, to come over to purchase from Malaysia. Just to add.
So can you say that Malaysia is almost reaching the level that halal becomes a standard for quality instead of something related
We
to
can say
Islamic
that,
content?
yeah, because we started our halal industry quite long ago, and JAKIM halal certification be recognized worldwide. Even again, I want to quote back a second posting in Dubai. McDonald's was using beef patty from Malaysia with JAKIM halal certification. I mean, McDonald's is an American brand. That shows how how high the standard of our halal.
So they are using it globally or for
For the UAE market at point of time. Yeah. But I believe that definitely it used at least the GCC. Yeah.
Any last question?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Looking at the numbers last year, you're saying that China is the biggest contributor, your exporter. So as we're seeing right now, China and US, the biggest
Economy.
the biggest powers in the global economy, is having a trade tension. So how do you see China is still your top exporter, and how big is the contribution to the sales this year?
China has been our major trading partner for the last, I think, 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. We cannot deny the importance of China as a single market that contributed to the economic growth of Malaysia in terms of our exports. I believe that China will definitely become the economic powerhouse one day, and the trade tension, the war between China and the US, so far we have not seen the major effect to our economy, to our exports. Yeah. Again, bear in mind that if you look in different perspective, there's always a blessing in disguise. Some countries, they even look any war created in any part of the region, they look at this as the situation as an opportunity for them. Okay, so again, when the trade war happened, I believe that there are a lot of Chinese companies from China starting to look Malaysia as the destination for them to invest, and explore the market as well. So China will always be a very important trading partner to us because, as I said, the market is huge. We're talking about 1.2 billion. China will always be one of the markets that we would like to focus. Reason simply because, as I said, the domestic demand is huge. Bear in mind that we have 5 offices, market offices cover China, namely in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Chengdu, and Hong Kong. They show how important it is. I'm not saying the other region is not important, but to share with you how significant the trade with China is. So, of course, we hope that this year's figures, we get better figure from other countries, only from Japan maybe, also quite a huge market. But again, we will share with you the outcome of the INSP, and definitely we'll link to other areas at the region as well, because to the buyers for the INSP. I think that one more question you wanted to ask, if you can just pick up one more.
Are there any countries that involve Islam, especially the non-Muslim countries?
I'm sorry?
Are there any new countries that involve Islam?
Okay. I will respond to your question later, but I just want to highlight another important thing. Our minister now, Minister Darrell, Minister of Trade, now is in US for the Trade Investment Mission. So that shows also US also important for us. In terms of economic growth. Other countries, new participation. I think we have,
Also, Islamic.
can I just give you, I just want to make sure that the facts is correct. I'll give it to you after this. Okay. From the 43 countries, buyers from 43 countries. I'll give you the countries, the new countries are participating first time for the INSP.
Non-Muslim. Non-Muslim.
Non-Muslim.
From the non-Muslim.
Oh, you want a non-Muslim?
Ada Panama is new to us. We're talking about Fiji, of all places, are new to us. Canada, Argentina, even Brazil, is rather new countries or new buyers coming from these countries.
I will help you to answer.
Yeah.
There's about 30 million Muslim populations in China.
30.
30 million. Approximately about 30 million.
Just like the size of Malaysian population.
Yes. And more and more Chinese Muslims are actually consuming halal products. And so how Malaysia is exploring the Chinese market, in particular for those non-Muslim populations. How Malaysia is actually explore Chinese market, in particular to those non-Muslim consumers.
I stress again the understanding of halal as an industry that have to be looked into by these countries. As I said, halal is about cleanliness. We are going to tell the whole world that halal is about providing quality products, providing you with products that have gone through a very stringent process in terms of the production-wise as well as delivery at the doorstep of the buyer. So 30 million, yes, we agreed that this 30 million will definitely consume halal products. But what about another 1.17 billion people in China, which I believe halal would definitely cater the high-end segment. They talk about quality, they talk about cleanliness, they talk about a stringent process that they have to go through in terms of producing that particular product. So I'm not talking about catering the 1.3 or 1.17 billion people, but I'm looking at another 10%. If we can get another 10% of the total population of China, which is 120 million maybe, or even 100 million for that matter. So that would be a huge market for us. you want to add?
Yeah, I think maybe I just share my experience in China. When I was there in 2003 and 2004, we had our first promotion to promote Mihas. We had a roadshow 2004, so I was there. So the understanding of halal in China at that time was only confined to slaughtering of animals according to Sharia, but nothing much than that. So we have to educate and create awareness on the processes of halal, which look after the whole supply chain. So that is that after that, the consumers there, they open up and they start to understand better about our halal concept. It's not only about animals, but also the whole thing, the whole process. So I think that's what Cik Mustafa said, is about the cleanliness. So if we focus on that, then I think the market will be wider, much wider, not only confined to the Muslim community in China.
Again, in terms of penetrating the non-Muslim community in China, our active participation through our trade promotion activities in China should be taken into account in terms of the promotion of halal products and services to China. For example, every year we bring huge delegation to the China ASEAN Expo in Nanning, which takes place I think in September, October. Every year we brought with us almost more than 100 companies. Okay, again, creating awareness, to educate, and for them to appreciate what Malaysia could offer to the Chinese market through our missions, through our collaborations with the trade associations over there, organizers of events. So there are so many activities that have been undertaken by MPreneursTV with regards to the promotion of halal product services in China. So, do you want to translate now? Better later, right? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
my name is Maksud Ahmed.
Last question.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. My name is Maksud Ahmed, and I'm from the Halal Times, and I'm based in Tokyo. Sir, as far as the Japanese market is concerned, just want to ask you what efforts MPreneursTV is currently making to promote the halal products over there. Of course, there are a lot of efforts going on over there in the domestic market, as far as my understanding is concerned. But from MPreneursTV side, could you please elaborate a little bit about what's going on these days?
Okay. Again, I've shared this, the approach that we are taking with regards to the promotion of halal product in the Japanese market. But we are also working closely with those Japanese companies based in Malaysia. Okay, for example, as I said, my engagement, I don't know whether Mitsubishi is going to be involved in food products or halal products, but I share with him the interest because they are coming tomorrow to visit the Mitsubishi Corporation based in the CEO.
Right.
So that would be one of the approaches. Maybe the Sojis, Japanese, yes, Soga Sosha is the trading houses, big trading houses, right? Conglomerates. They are here. Maybe we work with them. Start working with them and say that, hey, why not? You be part of the sourcing, one of the sourcing houses for Japan, Japanese market. And by actively involved in our halal show. Take a pavilion and let's work together. There's many ways to do it. So again, everybody talk about Japan. Everybody talk about the increase of awareness in the non-Islamic countries.
Yeah.
But what we do actually to address the needs of these people, of course we have our strategies.
Okay.
Directly or indirectly. We even organize seminar, talks, briefing with the presence of the Japanese experts here in Madrid. So there are a lot of ways to do it.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
In Japan, we have 2 offices.
In Japan, we have 2 offices. I led the office last time in Tokyo as well as in Osaka. That shows how
That's right.
serious. It's only a single market.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Definitely.
That shows how serious we are.
Yeah.
And we brought with us the marketing manager from Tokyo here. We brought 5 marketing managers from our offices
Okay.
Okay.
That's very
For
interesting.
this kind of program, there's also another
Okay.
value that we want to share with you,
Uh-huh.
where these people, there are local staff over there,
Right.
Japanese, Saudis, and a few others, and we want to update them what is happening with the industry,
Right.
so that when they go back, there will be a storytelling, right storytelling
That'll be
to
wonderful.
the business community.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all
Thank you
for
so much.
your time.